What's going on, everybody? 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here on our Monday afternoon. Natalie Ferrari's here. We've got Autumn back over there as well, too. There's Natalie right behind me. Want to talk tropics out there for this afternoon. So I'm sure you've been seeing the posts going around the internet about the what the GFS model is saying for the Western Caribbean. Next week, not this week, but by the end of the week and into next week, something could be developing. So it's in that kind of 7 to 10 day window now that we can really talk about a little bit more. Modeling this time of year is kind of tough because especially the GFS model tends to blow things up and suggest that you're going to get a lot of development when you don't see as much. However, the pattern is such that, yeah, we could get some development. So it's something that we have to watch. So let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Right now, the season starts June 1st, but as of May 15th, so yesterday, the National Hurricane Center started issuing their tropical outlook. They issue that twice a day. That's where they'll circle an area with yellow or orange or red, depending on the chances of it developing. They'll show you where the clouds and showers are, right? They started issuing that the 15th of May before hurricane season, basically because we've seen so many storms occur before June 1st. So 7 years in a row, we've seen something develop before June 1st. If we get another one developing before June 1st this year, that would be 8 years in a row. So they started issuing this thing just a little bit earlier. Now, let's talk about the next 5 days. No worries, right? See that there? Nothing developing the next 5 days. We're watching this area, though, in the southwestern Caribbean. This is the area, let me kind of circle it in here. This area right in here is pretty much where we look for development this time of year anyways. That's standard for late May and early June. The model is trying to develop something in here and then bring it up and out, maybe bring it straight up. Some models are bringing it even all the way over to the west coast, out in the Pacific, and some are bringing it up into here. So that's what I'm here to talk about for today. So most of what I'm going to be doing is going to be over here on the forecast model. So let's start with it, right? Let's start right in with the GFS model. Now, this is the main run of the GFS model. And this is probably what you've been seeing online lately because people like to take the big storm right there and then post it. But let me show you the latest. So this is this Saturday afternoon. You see this area down in here. Keeping an eye on that area near the Yucatan, right? The GFS, the latest run is developing a low there Sunday into Sunday night. Okay, and then eventually it starts to strengthen it, interacts it with land, weakens it. This is Tuesday night. So from Sunday night to Tuesday night, it kind of scrapes off the coast of the Yucatan. Then after that, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, you see this low sitting out here in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Very warm water in here. The loop current's right in there. It's very warm, so it has a chance to get a little bit stronger. But you can see it's throwing just tropical moisture over South Florida. And some of that would get in here as well, too. That's by Thursday of next week. And then it has by Friday afternoon, it actually has the low moving by. It's a much weaker system. This is a completely different look to it. In fact, every other run is a completely different look to it. But this is one of the weaker runs that have come out of it. A lot of them have been blowing this thing up, making it a lot bigger. This one is not doing that. Now, this is just one run, okay? And I can show you. Let's go do the previous run, okay? The previous run had this. You see that? That's the previous run. Let's go back a run before that. It had this. Okay, and then I can go even further back than that. Let's go back another run. It had that. Let's go back and see if I can get one of the big ones. And what did this one have? This one had a big storm coming up. All right, so that's 4 runs in a row, the 5th run in a row. I mean, it's been doing it more than that. But you can see that it changes, right? This is the very latest run. This one is one of the weaker ones, as I mentioned, but that would bring some tropical moisture our way. Now, look, that's one model, okay? And it's, 10 days out? So in forecasting, and especially with tropics, you almost want it right over top of you, that far out. Because the odds of that happening that far out are a little bit on the lower side. But the problem with this time of year is things do form in the Western Caribbean, Central Gulf, and they do turn to go to the north and the northeast as they kind of get picked up by fronts that are still getting further south enough in the States that it can start to pull this thing out. So the pattern is not that crazy, right? All right, now, A better way to look at this is what's called ensembles. And what it is the GFS is run like 21 different times. There's different versions of it. They kind of tweak the beginning so it'll handle this a little bit better, handle that a little bit better. But this gives you an idea of what the overall model is thinking. So look at this. This is Sunday afternoon. You see all these L's down here? That is indicating this is multiple runs shown on one map. And you can see all those L's developing. So the model runs are actually saying, yeah, there's what, 4, 5, almost 6 that are saying the runs, it's going to get a low. Now look at all these lows develop. You see that? Some are trying to get it over here into the Yucatan, interact with land. Some are actually taking it over in the Pacific. But then here are a couple by Monday night bringing it up here towards us. Okay, so the model is all over the place. And this is just the GFS ensembles. It's got it in the Pacific. It's got it over the Central America, basically parts of Mexico, Belize. And then it's got some up in the Central and Eastern Gulf of Mexico, okay? That's the GFS ensembles, all of the different runs. The first one I showed you is the main run. And that's why that can look scary, but that's why I say you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. And then we go on out through next week and the next weekend. There's not really too much going on there. So what's the European thinking, right? I knew you were going to ask that. So here is the European. And I'm going to go back out. Let's go to Friday, Saturday. Now remember, Sunday time frame is when we're watching. This is Sunday in the morning. Don't see too much there. Look at this. Sunday night, it's developing it in the Bay of Campeche, maybe a low developing right over the Yucatan. By Tuesday afternoon, it's got a low in the southwest Gulf of Mexico and a pretty big ridge out over the eastern and western Atlantic, and that's kind of pushing everything back to the west. It's got some that think it's out here over the Pacific, some in the Central Gulf, and you can see it's not doing too much after that. So let me come back out here where it is developing. There's a different way you can look at that. Look at all the lows. So this is going to show you a bunch of lows, but you get an idea. Oh, this is not going to have enough data. That's not going to show you enough. Don't have enough time for that one. But you get the idea, right? The European is somewhere over there in the western Gulf of Mexico. This is another way of looking at the model, and this is the CMC. It's a different model. But there's not going to be a hurricane down here and a storm here or a tropical system here, whatever. This is just different runs. It's an ensemble. One thinks the low is going to be over western Cuba. One thinks the low is going to be down here near Belize. And then you can take it out, and you can see another one's got a pretty big one here in the Central Gulf. Another one over the Yucatan. Again, these are ensemble runs of the CMC model. And you can see all the lows it's trying to take up towards, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana eventually. Another one across Cuba eventually. The bottom line, if you're looking at this is the CMC model saying, yeah, I sense something going on. That's Monday of next week, right? This is the European, and I'm running out of data here. Let me see if I can get the latest run. This is the European for Monday of next week, and it's not sensing a whole lot. It's got something here. And then you've got the GFS, which I showed you, has got all that stuff developing, right? You can look at the lows on this one. This one's pretty fun to look at. It's got one near Tampa, one down here, one over the Yucatan, one up towards Louisiana. Everybody gets in on this, right? So the model's all over the place, right? But obviously the GFS is saying something comes up and out, and it comes closer. And then it's got a second one too. Okay, so this is the concern. That's where we're at right now with it. This has been on the models, the GFS especially, for a better part of almost a week now. But that model goes out 15, 16 days, and it's just so far out in time to be bringing up on TV and things like that. I cut a video earlier last week on it, just kind of saying, hey, keep an eye on it. So that's where we're at with it. What does this mean for you? Well, basically it means get ready just in case, right? It means all the stuff we've been saying. And June 1st is hurricane season. By June 1st, you should have your hurricane plan ready to go, right? What are you going to do? Where's your zone? Do you live in an evacuation zone? If so, is it 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5? A, B, C, or D? If you need to evacuate, where are you going to go? What are you going to take with you? Do you have all your Social Security cards, your birth certificates, all that good stuff in one place that's protected, kind of a grab-and-go box, right? Do you have food? Do you have a hurricane kit? All of that stuff, and if you're watching on 10 Tampa Bay YouTube, we've got all those videos on there to help you get prepared. That's stuff that you should have done before June 1st. Forget about what the modelers are saying right now, right? There's nothing out there right now. But the models are saying maybe something next week, right? Forget about that anyways. you should have these things ready to go this week. It is tough to get a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico this time of the year, but the water's very warm. Usually they're weaker systems. Let me show you something else I wanted to go over here. Let me get back to this one. Some pretty good news, actually. So we've got, no development in the next 5 days. Look at all that brown coming off of Africa. That is dust. Saharan dust. It's literally sand and dust that gets picked up off the Saharan desert. Now, the forecast model is bringing a lot of that, not all of it, but a lot of it across the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and even into the Gulf and over top of us by guess when? Monday and Tuesday of next week. This stuff is not good for hurricanes, tropical systems, right? It tends to dry out the atmosphere. So this is going to be fighting that as well too. Plus there's going to be some wind shear coming in like this on top of it. And that's what the latest GFS run is seeing, I think, and it kind of weakens it, blows all the moisture off to the east. So, earlier, if you looked at this 5 days ago, it was a big hurricane hitting Florida. The model's not showing that right now. And that's why we weren't sharing that 5 days ago, because it's too far out. Plus, there's shear that we have to watch. There's all of this dust that has to watch here. Watch the forecast model now. I threw in the GFS here. The GFS has the low right here, and it's got all this dust on the east side of it, especially right over the state. Now, if there's wind shear coming in like this, it's going to blow the moisture off into this dust, which will eat some of it up, but it's not going to eat all of it up. We would get some rain, we would get some downpours here. But just still so far out in time. Today's Monday, obviously. Wednesday would be about a week out. So really Wednesday through Friday of this upcoming week, we're going to get a much better handle on this and what it thinks. And I got to be honest with you, I think even by then, we'll be pretty much sitting in... I don't want that. Well, we're pretty much sitting in that area where we're wondering, it's still not looking a lot on the European and the Canadian, but we're thinking that the GFS is still looking at it. It's going to be up in the air still even by the end of this week. And that's why you need to be prepared and ready to go. All right, questions? Anybody have any questions out there before I let you go? Let's see. I'm pulling up my page here as well, too. Just rain, please. Karen, I agree with you 100%. Looks like our daily, you know what, Ryan, if you want, we can talk about this upcoming weekend. Let me show you, we use the GFS model here for this upcoming weekend. See all that green? This is Friday afternoon, 6 o'clock. That is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere from the ground all the way up. When you heat up each day, get up to about 90, 92 degrees, and you got that over top of you, you make afternoon showers and storms, okay? This is where we're at right now, basically. See all the kind of dry air that's over top of Tampa right now? So we just don't have a lot of tropical moisture. But this little spin trying to develop down here, whatever that is going to throw moisture our way by Friday. This is Saturday. Look at all that dark green. Sunday, even Monday, Tuesday, and then see the blue? The blue now is the system trying to come our way. So, like I said, we'll see if that happens. That's Wednesday night of next week. So, yeah, definitely bringing back those afternoon showers and thunderstorms this weekend. Friday, we go 50%. 60% on Saturday, 50 to 60% on Sunday. So it's the afternoon stuff, the kind you set your watch to. Yeah, we'll be getting that back in the forecast, and we'll just have to wait and see what next week looks like according to whatever, if anything, wants to come out of there. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I will keep you updated on this. Of course, our whole team here, we're keeping an eye on it. We're honestly trying not to talk about it, but it's kind of getting into that window now where we kind of have to talk about it a little bit. Melissa says it's so hot. All right, that's it, guys. Have a good one. Don't forget my Facebook page, Bobby Deskins Weather, if you're watching on YouTube or on our 10 Tampa Bay page. And don't forget to get there, and you can get the whole team's links there. So hop over there and find that out. Have a good one, guys.